now we're toasting up some chilies. Yeah, that's a nice char on those. Making some carne adovada from New Mexico with some chilies. Put a couple of tablespoons of flour in there, and then we're just going to let that cook. That's going to be our thickener for our sauce. This is going to be a chimayo carne adovado. So you just want to cook that a little bit, just to get that flour incorporating, making a roux, if you will. It smells amazing. And we're going to add those back in. The chicken stock. Cook that down for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to blend it all. We'll be back. Also going to be adding some molasses, Mexican oregano, a little bit of that chili piquin, and ground New Mexican chili. Now this gets covered and cooks down for 15 minutes, and then we're going to put it into the Vitamix and blend it all up. Okay, I have scooped them all out of the pot. They've been cooking for 15 minutes. Now we're going to blend it in our blender. Perfect. I only added as much liquid as I needed to blend everything together and get it the right consistency. Be very careful when blending hot things. Make sure and put a towel over your Vitamix because it always wants to come straight up and over the sides. Don't want to burn your hands. Now I'm going to take this whole mixture, cool it down in an ice bath. I'm going to do ice water on the bottom and then use another bowl to put this in and cool it down rapidly, because then this is going to get poured over my pork chunks that I've already cubed over here, and then we're going to marinate it in the refrigerator until it's time to cook at 350 degrees for about 2 hours. This is going to be amazing, guys. There's my ice bath. Pro tip, when making an ice bath, before you put your bowl down, throw some salt inside of the actual ice bath. It'll keep your ice from melting too rapidly and gets everything cooled down way faster. Okay, so the liquid that was left over from the cooking of the chimayo peppers, I'm going to be straining this and reincorporating it into the actual cook. So don't ever throw it out. Even if you don't use it in this application, you can always freeze it, use it at a later time in another stew. This tastes unbelievable. All I did was strain it into a quart container, and I'm going to also cool it down. And like I said, I'll be using this liquid to pour back over my pork when it's time to put it into the oven. Okay, so my marinade has cooled down. My pork has been cubed, and I'm going to put it into the Dutch oven because this whole thing is going to go uncovered into the oven at 300 degrees, or excuse me, 350 degrees until fork tender. I may go on ahead and put a little parchment over the top though, so it doesn't burn. We'll see. We'll play around with it. May start it with it covered and then uncover it for later cook process. But this is why cooking and just looking at your food and listening to your food is very important. If there's a lot of liquid, take the cover off. It'll reduce and make a beautiful gravy. So now I clearly have a lot more than I need of the marinade. So I'm just going to pour in what I will need for the marinade portion. And then this leftover is going to get drizzled over the top after this dish is done. This will be great on tacos, eggs, vegetables, fish. It's a fantastic sauce. Chimayo peppers from New Mexico, guys. If you can ever get your hands on them, please do. So put that aside. Give this a good toss. Make sure and incorporate all of the pieces of pork in there. I did not salt my pork because I did salt the sauce. And I am one to constantly say make sure and salt from the bottom up. But in this case, I went a little bit more heavy-handed in the sauce so then it marinades and it doesn't actually cook the pork, cure it, and make it tough. So we're just going to let the marinade take care of all of that. So there we go. This is going to get placed into the refrigerator for the next 6 hours or so. If you can actually manage to get this to marinate overnight, this flavor is going to be out of control. But I know that with the minimal amount of pork I have in here and using a pork tenderloin versus a pork butt or pork shoulder, the marinade will incorporate itself into the meat nicely. So I'm not too worried about it. So then, like I said, this will go into the oven. I'm going to repurpose that liquid that I strained in here so everything cooks down. I'm going to taste, and then we're going to serve it. Not sure with what sides, so we'll see. We may just eat the beef or the pork actually all on its own because this is going to be amazing. I'm certain of it. But I'll see you guys for the finished product. Pork is in the oven, guys, and now I am starting to slowly cook up my refried beans. Now, as you can see, I do love a lot of vegetables in my refried beans. I use some black beans for today, and this is going to get served with some steamed white rice. I have a little garlic powder and onion powder in there. I have red pepper, a lot of jalapeno, because this chef likes it spicy. My daughter's coughing right now because of it, poor thing. And then once this all gets all blended together, all I did was add a little salt and pepper, that's it. I'm going to add some chicken stock and let this cook down nice and slow until it gets to the right consistency. It's probably going to have a lot more texture than your typical refried bean, but I'm so okay with that, especially with this pork dish today. And for a little acidity, I do like to add whole heirloom cherry tomatoes. Again, cooking all that down, it's just going to be sensational.